In the late 1950s, Robert Duvall was studying acting at the neighborhood playhouse, sharing a Manhattan apartment with Dustin Hoffman and going to parties at Gene Hackman's place. The three friends would all go on to win Academy Awards, helping to establish the classic blueprint for pursuing an acting career in New York: move here, hone your craft at a gritty acting studio, do a handful of plays, conquer Hollywood. Things have changed since the heyday of theater-trained movie stars and the independent acting schools that shaped them. Many small studios, threatened by rising rents, decrepit buildings, well-funded university programs, and instant internet stardom, are now struggling. Just ask Mary Boyer, who moved to the city from the Midwest in 1973 to pursue an acting career. She eventually became a teacher and a director, opening her own school in 2003. But by 2008, Boyer's 150 students had dwindled to about 50. The economy changed, Ms. Boyer said, and what actors and audiences wanted sort of changed all at the same time. She noticed more students expecting instant gratification. Her craft of acting courses, what she felt most passionate about, were not filling up. Auditioning classes became her new staple. Last fall, after 43 years in New York, Ms. Boyer gave up her studio space, delegated most of her teaching responsibilities to her associate artistic director, and returned to her hometown of Toledo, Ohio, to open a theater there. I just could not keep doing it, Ms. Boyer said. The lease for her school was up for renewal, and she had realized two things: her rent would continue to increase, and the only way to survive would be to teach more audition classes. My creative soul was crumbling, she said. This year, two other schools with long track records, the Atlantic Acting School and the T. Schreiber Studio, have made significant compromises in order to keep a toehold in Chelsea, the Manhattan neighborhood they helped gentrify. A symbolic example of the neighborhood's changing priorities is the fact that the tech giant Google, now the Atlantic's landlord, has plans to raise the school's rent to market rate next year when the school's 12-year lease expires. We've moved around Chelsea all this time, and it's just heartbreaking for the school to have to leave the neighborhood, said Mary McCann, the Atlantic's executive director. For much of the 20th century in New York, independent acting studios, many of them inspired by the Russian theater master Konstantin Stanislavski and the formation of the group theater, trained actors who revolutionized the craft and became marquee names, like Marlon Brando and Ellen Buston. But gradually, several of these studios joined forces with universities. Stella Adler was the first to go collegiate, in 1972, where their budgets and institutional power dwarfed the reach of the independent institutions. Meanwhile, colleges outside of New York also started to offer theater degrees. The colleges became our bigger competition, said Pamela Mahler-Kariman, executive director of the Neighborhood Playhouse. Applications for the Playhouse's conservatory program, based on the techniques of its renowned teacher Sanford Meisner, a Stanislavski protégé who died in 1997, started to decrease about 10 years ago, she said.